What's up, everybody? Welcome into another Thirsty Thursday. I'm super excited about this one. Today, we're going a little bit bigger brand name. We're going to go with Rogue Ales, Honey Kolsch. Stick around, see what we think of this one, and whether or not you should put it in your beer fridge and give it a try. All right, so Rogue Ales is a bit bigger than some of the smaller craft breweries we've had on this series before, but I think they definitely deserve a spot on this. I've never said that this is just going to be for small breweries, even though we try to highlight the smaller breweries to, give them some love. But Rogue Ales has always been one of my favorite beers, starting with Rogue Dead Guy Ale. It's always been one of my favorites. I even had it as recently as a week ago, and it's still one of my variety pack. Saw Honey Kolsch and said, this has got to get its own beer review because it sounds awesome. If you're not familiar, this is a little bit lighter of a style, similar to kind of a wheat beer-esque style. Now, this is a Kolsch style ale brewed with wildflower honey. It's got this very cool in logo with this bee holding the little honey dripper. I actually don't know what that tool's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, one of the things that caught my attention about this can, other than the angry looking bee, is a lot of the information that Rogue supplies on their cans now. So this has their, mantra on it, the dare, risk, dream, but it also says, Honey Kolsch is our liquid ode to bees. Brewed with wildflower honey, this Kolsch style ale has layers of subtle floral notes, accented by honey's natural sweetness that creates a refreshing balance with the hops and malts. And one of the cool things about their can is they also put this graph that explains the kind of flavors that you'll expect to get out of this. And it lends itself, and I'll put this on camera here, towards a little bit more of the sweet biscuit flavors that you would expect to get out of, honey and this style of beer. And then one of the other cool parts is it gives you food pairings, which I've never actually seen on beer cans before until some of these Rogue Ales. So it says pair it with prosciutto, grilled trout, and bananas frosting. I thought that was interesting because one of the ways for you to kind of level up your beer drinking experience is to pair it with the right foods, so that they complement one another. Excuse me, I am struggling to talk today. Complement one another rather than butting heads with one another. I also like, it's got, like most beers, the ABV is 5%, so not a strong beer. So I'm expecting this to be nice and pleasant, very crushable. 26 IBUs, so relatively low on the bitterness scale. And then the other thing that I found interesting was it actually has the SRMs on here. Now, if you're not familiar with SRMs, we haven't talked about them before. That is the standard reference method, which basically is, in its simplest form, a way to tell what color the beer is going to be from light to dark. This is an SRM of 6. So, I'll probably end up making a video on SRMs because it's an interesting topic. But what I would expect this to be is the color of honey. At 6 SRM, this should come out of kind of that golden amber type color that you would expect to see out of some honey. So, with that being said, Rogue Ales, Oregon-based company. This is their Honey Kolsch. It says dedicated to the bees. I didn't do any real research on this, so I kind of hope that they did some sort of charity for this, where they're donating to bee population. But let's crack this open and see what we think of it. We've got our Teku glass today because I thought it would be fun. I'm wearing a fancy shirt, so I thought I'd use a fancy glass. And the Teku glass goes with just about any beer. I don't tend to like it for ultra strong beers. It's good for these floral, flavorful beers though, but those really heavy, strong beers, it's not my favorite glass. But it should go well with this one. So let's see what we've got here on this Honey Kolsch. Now we've got our golden amber color that we were expecting. I mean, you could pour that into a plastic bear and tell me there's honey in there, and I would 100% believe you. That is a beautiful color. I mean, that looks awesome. We've got a nice little carbonation coming up from this. Nice head. Nice, fluffy, light, very bright white colored head. Exactly what I'd expect from this style of beer. I'm really excited for this one. Even on the can, you've got some of that honey smoothness coming from it. And it's definitely coming out of our Teku glass here. It's very pleasant, very smooth. I think I'm going to like this beer. All right, let's give this a sip, see what we think, score it, and then we'll have ourselves a great rest of our Thursday. Cheers. Wow, that is smooth. That is super pleasant. It's very light. Definitely getting the honey not only on the palate, but as far as texture goes, it's a very smooth, it coats the tongue a little bit, similar to if you took some honey and rolled it around on your tongue. It doesn't just go down, it kind of hangs and lingers. It's got a little more bitterness than I was expecting, but not a lot. So by no means are we talking the kind of IPA flavors that you would be expecting, or the IPA bitterness, excuse me. It's just a little more bitter than I thought it was going to be, but overall extremely smooth, very pleasant, lots of flavor without it being, overpowering. So this is something you can sit there and just drink and enjoy. Low carbonation overall, really pleasant. This is 100% a sit out back on a nice spring day and just drink some Rogue Honey Kolsches. This is delicious. Again, I'm a little surprised by just that slight bitterness. I know it's not high on the IBUs, but it stands out. All right, let's give this a score here. Let's give this an 8.2. 8.2 for Rogue Ales Honey Kolsch. Yeah, that's really good. You could sit out there and drink a bunch of these. I'm not going to shy away from this one again. Really nice beer. Lots of flavor. Really pleasant. Yeah, I would recommend picking one of these up. That's really good. Hey, great beer. This came in the, I want to say it was called the Supply Drop Variety Pack. I think that's what it was called. Pick this up if you see it. I know I saw it in its own 12 or 6 packs as well. Yeah, enjoy a Honey Kolsch if that's your style. If it's not, it's worth a try. You might like it. Happy Thursday. Cheers.